Can a plane fly without engines? At first, this sounds completely impossible, because when we think about airplanes, we think engines are everything. No engines means no power. No power means falling from the sky. But aviation works very differently than most people think. The shocking truth is this: a commercial airplane can fly without engines. And this is not a theory. It has happened multiple times in real life. To understand how this is possible, we first need to understand one simple fact. Engines do not keep an airplane in the air. Wings do. Lift is created when air flows over and under the wings at the correct speed and angle. As long as that airflow exists, the aircraft can remain airborne. Engines are mainly used for three things: takeoff, climbing, and maintaining speed. Once a plane is already in the air, it becomes something most passengers never imagine. It becomes a glider, a very heavy, very fast, highly engineered glider. So when engines stop, the aircraft does not suddenly drop like a stone. Instead, it begins to glide forward while slowly losing altitude. Modern passenger jets are designed with glide capability in mind. On average, they have a glide ratio of around 15:1. This means for every 1 kilometer of altitude lost, the aircraft can travel about 15 kilometers forward. At cruising altitude, this gives pilots an incredible amount of distance, often more than 100 kilometers. That means time to think, time to troubleshoot, and time to choose the safest place to land. And yes, this has already saved lives. In 1983, Air Canada Flight 143 took off with an incorrect fuel calculation. Mid-flight at 37,000 feet, both engines shut down. The cockpit went silent. No thrust, no engine power, no electronic displays. But the aircraft did not fall. The pilots maintained the correct glide speed and carefully controlled the aircraft. They searched for a landing site and spotted an abandoned racetrack. Using nothing but skill, training, and gravity, they glided the aircraft down and landed safely. Every single person survived. That aircraft later earned the nickname the Gimli Glider. Another famous example happened in 2009. U.S. Airways Flight 1549 had just taken off from New York when a flock of birds struck both engines. Within seconds, both engines failed completely. The aircraft was low, slow, and surrounded by buildings. Captain Chesley Sully Sullenberger immediately understood the situation. No nearby airport was reachable. There was only one option left. He glided the aircraft onto the Hudson River. No engines, no second attempt. 155 lives were saved. This event became known as the Miracle on the Hudson. Inside the cockpit, situations like these are not chaos. They are training. Pilots practice total engine failure again and again in simulators. They memorize glide speeds, emergency checklists, and decision-making techniques. The first priority is always control, then glide speed, then restart attempts. If engines cannot be restarted, aircraft systems switch to emergency power sources. One of these is the ram air turbine, a small propeller that deploys into the airflow and generates electricity and hydraulic power. Even without engines, pilots still have flight controls, instruments, and communication. Commercial aircraft are designed with the assumption that engines will fail at some point. That's not fear, that's engineering. But here's an important clarification. A plane cannot take off without engines. Takeoff requires thrust to overcome gravity and drag. However, once airborne, a plane absolutely can fly without engines. It can glide, maneuver, and even land safely. In fact, every time a plane lands normally, the engines are usually at idle power. The aircraft is already gliding toward the runway, so the idea of engineless flight is not as strange as it sounds. The real danger is not engine failure. The real danger is misunderstanding how flight actually works. Because aviation safety is built on physics, redundancy, and training, not luck. So the next time you're on a flight and you hear strange noises, or feel turbulence, or worry about what would happen if engines stopped, remember this: your airplane does not stay in the sky because of engines. It stays there because of wings, airflow, and pilots who are trained for the worst-case scenario. Engines provide power, but wings provide flight, and knowledge provides confidence.